So let's talk about the adapter pattern. Okay, so how do you do the adapter pattern and use it in Python? Well, here's a scenario where you might want to use it. Where we have the observer pattern, but I like to talk about in terms of publisher and subscriber. So we have a publisher class, okay, that is this central thing that says, okay, certain events need to be communicated to certain interested parties, and those interested parties are the subscriber. Okay, so we create our publisher instance. We just have one, and then we create multiple subscribers. Each of them have a name, and they also have a method called update that takes an argument called message, so that after we register these subscriber instances, and then we invoke the dispatch method, what happens? Well, it's going to call the update method of each of its subscribers who have been registered here. Okay, so that's good. That's good. Now, this all fits together very nicely because this update method, it just happens to be something that actually fits in with what publisher expects that its subscribers will have as a method and the signature for that method taking one argument. Okay. Now, what happens if you have some subscriber object basically, but it just doesn't happen to have an update method? Well, often you can just add a compatible update method. Sometimes you can't, or it's not convenient to, right? Maybe you have a subscriber that's from some class in a library, a third-party library that you're using. Can't really alter the source code. It's just, or you physically could if you had to, but it's a lot of trouble, so you don't in practice. Well, there are several things you can do. The book and the course talk about adding a callback method as one way to do this. But there's another method that is more general, and which I'm going to talk about now. Let's say we have this, let's call this subscriber one, okay? And then we have subscriber two, where this method is called receive. And then we have subscriber three, where the method is called communicate message and let's say level, okay? And then what we're going to do is say level plus, so this is like level, kind of like log level, something like that, okay? So level will be a string, and then well, maybe it makes more sense to put them in this order, okay? But notice that now with receive, the signature of this method is compatible with what is expected inside the publisher, but it just has the wrong name, okay? But with communicate, not only is the name different, the signature is different, okay? It's not even like the message is actually a second argument. It's not even the first argument, right? So how could we deal with this, okay? And let's say this is subscriber two and subscriber three is John, okay? How can we make this work? Well, what we can do is we could create a class called adapter, subscriber three adapter, okay? And then it takes one argument in its constructor called a subscriber. It stores it on self. And then what we can do is we can say def, then we write this method update. And let's say that we're going to hard code the level as info, let's call it, okay? Then we could say self subscriber. Just this publisher is not keeping track of any return value, so it doesn't matter if we return anything for this use case. So what we have here now is we have a class that lets us actually wrap around this subscriber 3. We have that instance. That's the instance here. This is an instance of subscriber 3. Okay. And then we're going to, but it has the interface, the method interface that the publisher needs. Okay. So what we do is not say John is, we don't register John directly. What we do is we register the adapter. So let me run it here. So we have the problem though, because we have subscriber 2, it has a receive. So what we can do then is make a adapter class for that too. I'll just copy that constructor. And then we're going to likewise wrap Alice here. Okay, and what happens if we run it on the command line? Oh yeah, doesn't work that way. Is we in fact get this output here. Okay, so that, yeah. So let's see here. Is that correct? Let me check something. Yeah, that's correct actually. Okay, because we dispatch it's lunchtime. So let me just put everything on one. Here's what it looks like on the command line. So we run the program, said Bob got the message, it's lunchtime. And so everybody got the message, it's lunchtime.
Aren't we missing John? Oh, wait.
Why is John not? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, I see what I missed here. Notice that John should not have got of the dinner announcement. What's the error I made here? Anybody see?
You unregistered the subscriber 3, not
Yeah. So what I did was I registered the instance of subscriber 3 adapter, but I unregistered the instance of subscriber 3. So actually what we want to do is just actually put them in to begin with like this. Because we need to reference the same object when we register and unregister. So now when I run it, this is what I get, right? So we have John, Alice, and Bob get it's lunchtime. Alice and Bob get it's time for dinner, but not John. So yeah, so that's correct. So yeah. So in the event, yeah. So that was just specific to the fact that we're using the observer pattern implemented a way that we can register and unregister. But this is in general the adapter pattern. The adapter pattern means that you need your class to have a certain shape or a certain interface, and the object you have does not conform to that interface. So what you do is you create a class that does have that interface and takes the first instance as an argument, right? As an argument to its constructor, stored to itself, and then the methods on the adapter class, which is kind of a wrapper class, that will conform to what needs to be invocable, and then will then trigger what needs to be triggered on the instance, that the original source instance. So that's the idea of the adapter pattern. And it's not really the way I've just described it is pretty much the same in every language. So it's kind of a simple pattern. It's more of an idea almost. You just create a wrapper class or an adapter class. It's good to think. I think of it the way I often implement it. I think of it as a wrapper. So yeah, so that's how the adapter class pattern works.